This is going to be
It is going to be fun.
Good one. We've got a gentleman, Mr. Austin Dennis, joining us here shortly. And, man, he is a TikTok sensation, social media. You need a good drink. You need a good dip.
Yeah.
You need any of that stuff. This man's got it, dude. Cookbooks, all kinds of stuff.
It does. It's actually just so cool. I like the way he lays it out, too. It's just, it's kind of how we cook. And it's how your neighbor would tell you how to cook something. You know what I mean? That's what's cool about it.
I love high level. Yeah, I've been watching this guy for
very high level.
Yeah, high level. I've been watching this guy for months. He's got a great attitude, a great angle on what he's doing. And since knowing he was coming on the show for the last couple of days, I did a little back dive into his Insta, and he gives a good breakdown of his story, how he got in the business, which I love it. I thought that was awesome. And then just been hungry every time I watch his page for any length of time. Any of his posts, I leave there thinking, dang, even if it's something I know I don't eat, like I can't eat because it'll, I don't need to eat that. I still want to I would make a little just to try it, but
for sure.
And I can't wait to talk to him about that. So I'm not going to leave it on the couch.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
I will say I did eat several pregame snacks getting ready for this, so I would not be starving like I am 30 minutes into most of our podcasts we do.
Good idea, man. Good idea.
And the drink recipes too. So in honor of that, let's do a podcast, boys.
Oh, let's do it.
Let's dive off into it.
Welcome to the most unprofessional podcast you'll ever be a part of, Austin.
Look, I'll fit right into that.
We like to eat and drink and be merry, and we noticed you did too. What's up, brother? I'm JR. That's Blasey, Tiggs. Thank you for coming on the show today, man.
Yeah,
Big
man.
fans.
Thank you.
Nice to meet y'all, man. I appreciate y'all having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Dude, absolutely freaking love your content. And I've been watching it for quite a while. So happy. It's crazy how this happened. I was watching you live. Like, it was just in a TikTok live, and I said something. You're like, shoot me a DM, man. I was like, I think I just asked. Hey, I think I said, hey, man, you want to come on my podcast? She's like, yeah. Shoot me a DM. So here he is. Here he is.
I feel like that's how everything's happened. That sounds crazy, but it's just like doors open to podcasts and sponsorships that I never thought I'd be doing. And, I'm just rolling with the punches. Every door that opens, I go in it with a beer in my hand.
You damn right you do, as you should.
What kind of beer is that? I saw that beer on your videos too.
This
is
is
that?
Outlaw Beer. I've been partnered with them for about 3 months. And
okay.
People are like, man, you just sold out to Outlaw. And I'm like, man, they sent me like 2 cases of beer in the beginning. I like to drink beer too much to just sell out for a beer that I don't like. So I tried it for a while, and then they said, we're going to get you stocked up at the beginning of our partnership, and they sent me 50 cases on a pallet. And I'm like, man,
my God.
I appreciate you stocking me up, but like next time, can you send like 2 or 3 cases at a time? I don't need 50 cases.
I don't need a pallet.
Unbelievable. Wow. God, I've never even heard of that.
If y'all ever in the neighborhood, come by.
Parish Brewery. If
you got your kids out there selling Outlaw Beer, it's fine. It's fine. That's good
Hell
stuff,
yeah, man. Hell yeah. Well, Austin texted me today. He's like, anything I need to be prepared? And I said, you need to get you one of them damn mason jars of yours and make you a cocktail and get you a drink. And he said, I think I'll have me an Outlaw Beer. Damn right.
I was checking the temperature. I'm making sure, like, hey, we're doing this podcast, but I'm going to drink something. What are y'all doing?
For sure you are.
It's just a BS session, man. We just talk about all things Southern culture. We're all friends. Blasey and I went to college together many moons ago. Tiggs used to be Blasey's neighbor. Tiggs started the podcast. We all morphed this thing together about a year ago. Had a real good response. Now we're on the Bubba Army Network out of Tampa, Florida, so got a big reach that way. And we've had some great guests. And like I said, we just talk about all things like Southern culture. Obviously cooking and eating's going to be high on that list. Music, hunting, fishing, partying, all that good stuff. Nothing crazy, nothing serious, and Tiggs is a magic man because if we do anything stupid, we don't want it on here. Boom, it's gone. So
that's right.
So he's the editor in chief.
Yeah, it's not a live. On them lives, I have to really be easy what my pregame consists of. But these when Tiggs can cut it up, it's like, oh hell, whatever, let's roll.
Let's just go with it. And I don't know if you realize,
show.
I'm sitting in Props Brewery right here, so they've actually got a big tonight's music trivia going on behind me. I'm in a little room actually where they brew, but it's glassed off, so it's the noise differential's enough where I can sit in here. So I normally do live events from here. I usually do these recorded ones from the house, but I was kind of just bored and was like, man, I don't really want to sit in this little room by myself. I think I'll go up here and have some of this energy behind me. So
at first I was like, is he in a hotel and he's just like hanging out and like everybody's eating? I've seen people eat breakfast in the hotel, but I'm like, everybody's eating the dinner buffet behind me.
It's a late damn night at a hotel. What kind of hotel is that?
Yeah.
Well,
Blasey's over in Florida in the Panhandle, Destin area, Freeport, Florida. I'm in Gulf Shores, Alabama. So we're east of you guys.
Yeah.
I was over in the Gulf Shores area a couple of weeks ago. We did a little impromptu trip just to get away. We've got a 4-month-old, and we took him. And man, I tell you what, beach trips aren't the same when you have a kid. I've learned that. I learned that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it's a game changer. Everything changes.
Drinking beer is good enough for me at this point.
Right? Are y'all ready to go somewhere? That's like, oh my God, you got to have all this crap you got to take with you, man. It's unbelievable. Yeah, I've been there.
So we just stay here. I'm good. I can drink here. I just look at it and pretend I'm down there.
Well, you have an amazing setup, an amazing outdoor kitchen, a swimming pool, and all that. Yeah, dude. Well, I wouldn't leave your backyard either, brother.
I appreciate it.
Why would you?
I tell my wife she loves to go out in the country to like the Dominican or Mexico. And I'm like, after day 2 of eating like mediocre food and drinking they're decent drinks, and swimming in a pool with a bunch of other people, like, we have that in the backyard. Why are we doing this?
I agree.
Exactly.
No
exactly.
It's cool for 2 days, but you know how hard it is to travel down and travel back. It's just a pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I've discovered in this, Austin, I put a little video out yesterday on the stories, just seeing if anybody had any questions that you and I were going to be doing this. You did as well. What's funny is that we were both doing it at the exact same time without knowing it. I go in after I posted it and check, and I saw I was tagged in something. I was like, oh, shit. He did it too. He probably thinks I'm over here trying to do this after him. No, I wasn't.
Oh, man.
No. I mean, if I was, it would make sense.
Like-minded.
Yeah. I just wanted to get whatever I could get, the ball rolling, get some energy behind it. So I do that with anything. If I'm posting for a brand, or if I agree to do a podcast, it's the same thing. I'm going to go all in, and if I can help y'all in any way, obviously I appreciate y'all having me on, but if I can help y'all to get more guests on, or have more substance to our conversation, that's all I was trying to do.
Oh, this is just the beginning of our relationship here, Austin. Don't you worry, brother. We're going to be hitting you up.
Book your next tee time at Cypress Bend Golf Resort in Toledo Bend Lake Country. The stunning redesigned course welcomes players of all levels, from new golfers to seasoned pros. Located along Toledo Bend Lake, the course features 10 unforgettable waterfront holes with lush fairways and panoramic views. Big fun awaits you beyond the greens. Book a guided fishing trip at our world-class fishery. Visit the new Toledo Bend Family Adventure Park. Swing into action and plan your dream getaway to Toledo Bend Lake Country today.
I found out last night because of that you and I have somebody that we are very mutually connected to, and I had no idea. I don't know how in all these videos that I have seen of yours that I have somehow missed this. I swear to God, it's the 3 videos I haven't seen because she sent them to me last night. My good friends at Tbirds, Iron and Smoke, Travis Baker and Kelly Baker, they're family, brother. Like, they stay here at my house. I'm a huge Tbirds fan. Yeah, so we started talking about all that.
Man. That's wild. And he was one of the first people that reached out and actually promoted his seasonings. My neighbor's kids are obsessed with his seasonings. Every time I cook, they say, Tbirds. And I'm like, I have some Tbirds. I won't use mine this time. But his I'm serious, his honey cayenne barbecue sauce, out of every sauce, I mean, I have every sauce on the planet that people send me. That honey cayenne is the best barbecue sauce on the planet. And that's it right there in the flesh.
That's 1,000,000%.
That is the holy grail of barbecue sauce. And
dang, man. That's a big, strong statement there, because there's a lot of good stuff out there.
It's different, man. It's different.
I like it.
Dude, it is. I've been telling these boys this, and I haven't gotten them any. I have a feeling after this show that will change, because that's been on me. I buy it from Travis by the gallon. I have. Damn. That's why I don't have any to just ship them or send them some. He will do it. I haven't asked him, but I buy it by the gallon from him and just keep it in the damn refrigerator. My neighbor is hooked on it. So that's one of the reasons I can refill a bottle and stuff like that too, you know. But
that's such a cool connection, man. I promoted him like 3 or 4 times.
Yes, you have. Awesome, I saw every video last night because Kelly sent them to me, and I was like, how did I miss these? That wicked chicken rub, man, on chicken.
Oh, yeah.
Unreal. Yeah.
And I'm like 5 feet away, and I can go grab everything in his arsenal that I have within arm's reach over here. But I remember the first time I did a promo for him, I said, man, you know, I really, you know, a lot of people send me seasoning, and whether they're paying or not for a video, they think that it's just going to go viral every time. That's just not how it works. And I told him, I said, my dip videos do really well, and the serious barbecue sometimes doesn't. And it's hit or miss. And I told him, I said, do you mind if I put your seasoning in a dip recipe because I want to get you the most views that you can get? And he agreed to it. And I can't remember. I think he got like 500,000 views on Instagram and around 500,000 on TikTok. And I'm like, man, I appreciate you letting me do that because at the same time, you want to get your seasoning out, but 500,000 views in a dip recipe gets you more marketing than 50,000 views on a brisket. So when people are that easy to be, hey, just do whatever you think works and give you the creative freedom, that helps.
Just play around with it a little bit. Yep. That's awesome.
Work your magic.
I think that's a good place for us to start.
Floribama Yacht Club is an open-air waterfront restaurant located on the waterways of Old River, where Orange Beach, Alabama meet Perdido Key, Florida, across the street from the world-famous Floribama. Join us by land or by water and enjoy live music, delicious cocktails. Don't miss out on our frozen favorite, the Bushwhacker, unique and scrumptious lunch and dinner options, and the best outdoor beach atmosphere for enjoying the gorgeous scenery of the Gulf Coast. For more info, visit our website at floribamayyachtclub.com.
Let's rewind this. Let's back it up a little bit.
Okay.
I know I've watched your story. You made a great video, kind of a nice little short, kind of recapping your journey, but let's dig a little bit deeper into it. How did you get to this point? I understand that you were in the oil and gas field or something like that, and then decided to kind of take a chance. So I'll shut up and let you tell that story now.
So, about a year and a half ago, a tornado hit my hometown, and when it hit, I didn't really know what I could do from here. It was 3:30 in the afternoon when I got a phone call, and the weather was decent here, and I get a call saying a bad tornado had just hit my hometown in Alabama. So found out that it was pretty devastating. Luckily, now knowing nobody lost their life, but I didn't know how I could help. I mean, I go home to visit family, but I hadn't spent time in my hometown with people that I even went to high school with or was friends with in 12 years. So we decided that we could cook, and that'd be the best thing we could do to support people, whether it was EMS, linemen, people that were just without power that just wanted a hot meal. So we got some donations together. We donated some funds. We went to Alabama. We cooked for people for the first weekend, which we were just doing Boston Bus the first weekend. So then the next weekend, we get back to Louisiana, and I tell my wife, I'm like, I want to go back. So we got a 33-gallon cast iron pot. We made a pork and sausage gravy. It was a little bit more structured. We had a little bit more lead time to figure out what we were going to do. Able to cook for a lot more people. Rouse's donated a ton of meat to help out with the cause, so that was super cool. Yeah. And then I told my wife after that event, and I've always loved to cook, and eat, like, just rewinding me being in the oil and gas field. I had a very good career, and I worked my way to the top, and I'm very fortunate, and my character was developed through working in that industry for sure. But I was in a rut. I was just sick of it. It wasn't really fulfilling me. And I told my wife after that event, I said, I really want to share my experiences with people on social media. I don't know what that'll look like. I don't know what creating content looks like, but I want to take the step and just try. And that was kind of where it started after that trip to my hometown. And we just started making content. It wasn't great by any stretch. I mean, it was a lot of me thinking I had to do whatever I thought they wanted to see in the beginning. And sometimes I go back and watch those old videos to realize that I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know how to do it, but
you're putting one foot in front of the other and just going.
I was still willing to just put my foot forward and say, this isn't a really good video, but like in 6 months it's gonna be, and I'm gonna figure it out. So I just kept pushing forward, and it was different. It's kind of tough explaining to your wife like, hey, I'm fixing to start making content on social media. And she's like, she comes home the first day, and I'm gonna tell y'all this. This is one of the funniest stories to me, anyway. I didn't have a ring light. I didn't have a camera stand. And I had one of those suction cup cell phone holders in my work vehicle. And I unsuctioned it. I put it on the countertop outside. And my wife came home from work, and I was out there making a video. And she just came out there and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm making a video." And she just kind of cut her eyes like, what? And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm cooking." And she just kind of gave me that like not approval look. And I'm like, okay, this is going to take a little while. And it took some time. And, February so I've been doing it for about 17, going on 18 months now. In February, 17 months ago, I had 3,000 followers. And then I first got into my first viral video, and I started figuring out, because I had data to back it up, like what works, what doesn't work. And then I just kept going. And I think the consistency is the biggest thing. People think that you go viral if you've got 300,000 or 400,000 followers on social media every time you post, and you don't. I posted a tri-tip video. I made a steak sandwich, and I posted that today. And
I watched that today, and my God. Yes.
Me too. I got a question just about that video, but I'll ask it later.
Okay. And that's like, if I was going to tell you like what I really pride myself on, it's not cocktails, it's not dips. What I did today and posted is more of what I pride myself in. Like, right. I want to do something technical, and I'm going to make a cool recipe, and I want you to try it. But before I checked and before I got on this podcast with y'all, it had a few thousand views. And I can go make a dip recipe with 5 ingredients that cost $10, and I can get 17 million views. It's just the nature. It's the nature of the beast, and I do it for what it is. I like the dips. People like the dips is really what matters. Yeah, and
the dips are fun and easy, and they're good. Yeah,
and I've become the dip guy now. It doesn't bother me, but if I had it my way, the videos like I did today would be the videos that I would do constantly. I just had to evolve into what social media is looking for.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we're at, Austin. That's kind of what we're trying to figure out, too. I mean, obviously, we're a podcast. We're going to talk about everything. This will be our home. This is the hub whenever we're all together. But let's just be honest. Doesn't get a ton of views. I mean, it gets views. It's getting more and more. We're getting more and more listens. We're getting a lot. I mean, we get a lot, but it ain't millions. It isn't what everybody would think.
It isn't those niche things that suddenly we have some success with and go, wow, that's really where the action is,
That's right.
It's not Travis and his brother, the Kelsey brothers,
That's right, exactly.
I bet Travis is happier now that he's ever been retired, and look at them. I mean, he's probably making more money now than he did playing in the NFL.
He probably is.
I think they offered him $100 million to do their podcast, bro. Like they offered that to Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I was going to say Rogan's probably the biggest media person on the planet right now.
Yeah, him and Tucker Carlson.
Because they don't do anything special. Like there's no cool backdrop. There's not a bunch of special lighting. They just sit there and talk.
Yep.
That's where I think the whole country is going to.
Conversations.
Honestly, Austin, that's what you do too, but you make it funny. Like, I mean, you come in with, you've got your tagline. Number one, where did you get your tagline? What the hell is going on, y'all? Where'd you get that?
It evolved by accident. I did an introduction video when I hit like 4,000 or 5,000 followers on TikTok. Because I started on TikTok. I didn't even post on Instagram and Facebook probably until about a year ago. And when I started my introduction video, I said, just like this too. And when I go back, I'm like, God, you were so stupid. But when I started the video, I said, what the hell is going on, y'all? And I said it a couple more times, I think, throughout like the next few weeks. And then it slowly evolved into when I was on a live, somebody would say it in the comments. And it evolved from that to a little bit more emphasis and a little bit more. And then it got to the point where it was just like, what the hell is going on, y'all?
I love it.
And it was just like in your face. And then Now that's good shit. That evolved. That wasn't supposed to be in there, but there's already a guy out there that says it's so good. There's already a guy out there that says you got to try it, and I just had to use now that's good shit. Now my wife wants me to kind of, now that we've got a baby, and he's going to be going to one day, hell is acceptable, but shit's not. So we're kind of evolving away from that. I don't think that's going to matter, but I think some people may come up with this and have the foresight to know it's going to work. Everything that I've ever said that stuck was merely by accident.
That's crazy how that happens. And that's it. You just keep doing things. You keep going. And suddenly you start realizing what's going and you kind of get driven in a direction. And we found that too. Yeah. And real quick, I want to throw this in there. Speaking of your dips, at y'all's expense, I'm going to tell how I'm the biggest dipshit on this thing right now. You ready? So, dude, the other day I made your Fiesta corn dip. Just something about it looked real good in my mind. I was like, man, I want that. And so I went and got all the stuff at the grocery store I was shopping, got back home and made it up. Phenomenal. So I got a little container, cleaned it out, bring it up here. I was going to get my chips out and be eating your dip, And, dude, I looked down. My dumb ass got pimento cheese. I just sit there and looked at it. I was like, God.
Well, now you got to eat it. You got to eat it.
Yeah, that's it. Boys, this Knott's pimento cheese right here is really where it's at. You want to find pimento cheese with the jalapenos in there? No, this is not homemade. This is pimento cheese, but it's not brand KNOTT. But it's a jalapeno by Grandma. Yeah. Anyway, you find that at Publix.
$5,000 for saying that.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. It just went viral. Damn it. Poor Lauren. So I went today to Morel's restaurant in New Roads. Have you ever been there, Austin?
I have not, but I saw your video and I heard the chicken salad was excellent.
It was fan-freaking-tastic. Now, I know that you also make a fantastic chicken salad, and I think she and I had this discussion after I did it, and I'll be dropping that video later and all that because, I kind of gave it away. It's obviously, it's really good. I knew it would be, but you and I need to go up there. We'll take yours. I'll give it a fair deal. Like, but she's so cool. They have so many things. Was it Boysen? I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm terrible.
Boysenberry?
No, it's a cheese. It's like a spreadable cheese with herbs and stuff, garlic. Yeah, it's almost like butter. She has that. It's the best thing I've ever eaten in my entire life.
It's
damn, that's a strong statement.
I put it on my steak sometimes. It's like a butter cheese. It's
yes.
Oh my God! It's that little gold. Yeah, Borson's.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh,
I've never had it before.
Oh, I'll drop that on a steak instead of some butter sometimes.
Oh yeah.
She makes it homemade up there.
And I'm sure. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, hers is gonna be better than mine. And speaking of chicken salad, I saw I didn't know who this person was, but Bethany Frankel. Apparently, she was like a housewife or something, and she's famous. And this just goes to tell you how. I'm not going to say stupid. That's not how ridiculous social media is.
Yeah.
I don't know who Bethany Frankel is, and I see a video about her chicken salad. I had to make like 4 videos because me and the wife got a stomach bug going into the weekend. We're supposed to be at the Luke Combs concert Saturday. We had to cancel everything. So when I'm on the mend, I'm out there making 4 or 5 videos because I fell behind being sick. And I see this video with Bethany Frankel. I don't know who that is. That could be my neighbor, or that could be a terrorist for all I know. And she says she's like the chicken salad queen, or people are saying she is.
Yeah.
I had a chicken salad recipe. So I'm just out there. I've had like 5 beers, and I said, Bethany Frankel, if you're watching this, throw all that other stuff you have away and try this chicken salad. Blah, blah, blah. And you don't expect it, and everybody that follows her starts tagging her and telling her to try it. And again, I don't care as much. I used to care. I don't care anymore. I used to care when the video that I put my heart and soul into that really represents who I am got 5,000 views. And this video's got like 150,000 now, and all I said was,
"You just drinking beer and chilling."
And what really got the engagement up, people could not believe I didn't know who she was. So then about 3 hours ago, I'm sitting on the couch. My wife gets home, and I said, "Do you know who Bethany Frankel is?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, I made a video, and apparently everybody's really upset because I didn't know who she was." I said, "I don't follow like housewives and stuff." Dude, sometimes you trigger the algorithm and you don't even know you're triggering.
Don't mean to. That's unbelievable. That is fantastic. That's fantastic. My neighbor is friends with Shane Griffin, who is the guy who has been shipping that chicken salad out to everybody. He's really the guy who started the whole damn craze,
Really?
honestly. Yeah, his name's Shane Griffin. He owns March. It's there in Bocage Village. Fantastic place. Hell of a nice guy. I went and interviewed him because my neighbor, we're sitting around having a couple of cocktails one Sunday night, and somehow this came up. The chicken salad. We had some Calvin's. Her son at the time was working at Calvin's. So she had some Calvin's chicken salad. I was like, have you seen that video? There's a chicken salad's going viral. And she was like, yes, you need to be talking to him, blah, blah, blah. And like, while sitting there, she texted the guy, and like, I was there a couple days later doing the interview and jumping on the wave.
And, somebody, like, their whole small business is like, the whole trajectory's changed for something like that. It's the reach that social media can potentially have is insane.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's just crazy. So how did you have the balls? Because I'm just going to say it. You had balls to just stop what you're doing, making money, to jump into this whole game and try to make it. Are you just that determined?
Well, determination's definitely in there, but there's definitely a risk when you do anything like this, and you're your own boss. But I had some safety nets in play. I had the certifications that I accumulated throughout my 12 years work in the oil and gas industry. I could always fall back into that, so that's there. Yeah, I'm not leaving on bad terms. I've got a really good friend. My best friend actually owns a business doing the same thing I did for a bigger company.
Oh, okay.
So in the beginning, he's starting out. He's really growing. So I'm like, I'm really doing – I know this number part-time, and I think if that number is multiplied times full-time and sweat equity, I'll be able to get to the number I was at working full-time at my job. It's going to be hard, but I'm willing to do it. But the safety net on top of that was being able to go work with him and knowing, because we're really close, that he's going to take care of me. I'm going to take care of him and make sure he's on the right path. So it definitely isn't. And I'll always say this, there are so many people that'll help you throughout your journey. If you do things the right way, if you do things the wrong way, you're going to have a really tough road. But if you treat people right, you help the people just like the people helped you up. And I try to do my best to do that when I have time. People that may have 5,000 followers or 6,000, like, what should you do if you're in this position? And I can give them the advice because I lived it and I know what did and didn't work. So that helps a lot. And there's a lot of gratification in that. It's not an ego thing. It's more about, like, don't forget where you came from, help people like you were helped. And that just kind of goes from all the way from the bottom to all the way to the top. And I talk to people that have 3 or 4 million followers, and at least the people I network with, if you're like-minded like me and you don't have an ego and you're not arrogant, and there's a lot of people out there that do, and I don't talk to them, but there's a lot of really good people out there that have big followings. There's a lot of people out there that have 5 times the following I have, and they might make a couple $1,000s a month, but the business side doesn't really intrigue them. They don't want to be involved with that. Right. They would rather go to work, and that's their prerogative. That's cool. But for me, it's like, I didn't mean to go into business. I really didn't. The seasoning in the beginning when I started on social media was always the 5-year dream. I didn't think I'd do it in a year and a half, and the seasoning's been doing really well. And I'm just kind of, every day I learn something new. And when I say, sometimes I learn 10 things new. And now I'm a salesman. I'm on the phone making 30 or 40 calls a day before I do content, and I
trying to get that product out.
And I learned all of those tools from being in the petrochemical industry and being in meetings and having high pressure situations. Mm-hmm. And now looking back at that, I wouldn't trade it. I did, like I said, I got into a rut, but it developed my character to be able to tell anybody with an honest look on my face, hey, this is what my product is. I would love to give you some info about it. If you like it, I'll send you a sample, sell it if you want to, but if not, that's fine. But this is what I have.
Let's talk about those seasonings, man. I haven't had a chance to try them. I can't wait. I was hoping.
Yeah, me too.
I was hoping I would
2 free bottles. Don't worry.
Okay, well, I would go buy them. I don't care about that.
Folks. Everybody
there you go. I'll come to your house and grab them, Austin. Most of our guests aren't as close as you, and here we are still doing this remotely. But don't worry, folks. Austin and I are going to get together in person one day and do this with these boys.
Yeah, in studio would be awesome. But no, this is the Any Reason seasoning.
Great name. Great name.
Yeah.
So I named this one. And then and Any Reason season, it's just your typical all-purpose blend.
All-purpose, yeah.
As far as flavor, but obviously,
is that like would be like a Cajun seasoning?
Nothing spicy about it. This is just salt, pepper, garlic, a couple other spices. This is just so the idea behind me coming out with these two rubs in the beginning and seasoning rubs, just whatever terminology you use, was if you didn't have salt or pepper in your house or any other seasoning in your cabinet, with these two seasonings, you could cook barbecue, or you could put this on French fries and burgers or whatever.
Great idea.
So then we've got let me flip this. The Nice and Slow barbecue rub. Wife named that one. She thought that was a cool name. I thought it was a cool name. But this one's got a little bit more of a sweeter profile to it. It's a little bit of sugar in it and some other spices. But this one's more for like pork and chicken.
Okay.
My wife eats it on everything. She loves it, and I think she's married to it because she named it. But,
she's putting it over big time.
That's right. That's right.
We got the Any Reason seasoning and the Nice and Slow barbecue rub. And again, like even going back and talk about like who you know and just doing your stuff the right way. I've met so many people. There's a guy that watches me on TikTok that owns 7 grocery stores, and he's got a call with me Monday. And he said, he sent me an email the other day, and he said, do you deliver seasoning on pallets? And I said, I've never been asked that, but I said, well, hell yeah.
Not yet,
I mean,
but we will.
What am I here for if I tell this man, well, I've never done that? So I just say yes, because we're going to figure out.
You can figure that out.
Pallets now.
Yeah.
That's easy. That's easy.
We need to figure that out.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
He's like, I got a call. I got 7 locations, and we need to get a big order. I'm like, hey, you say when.
Absolutely.
Yeah, how many? You say jump, I say how high. So let's go. Yeah. I love that, man. That's awesome. That is awesome.
Where's that product manufactured at, if you don't mind me asking?
It's in Katy, Texas. And the only reason I didn't keep it in Louisiana is the lead time. The lead times I was getting from other co-packers was like 4 weeks. And I love Texas Custom Spice. So Texas Custom Spice, if you see this episode, I'm not trying to get away from you, but if it ever got to a point where I could get my lead time and everything kind of dialed in, it may be different in the future because it would be nice to just be able to go pick up a load instead of getting it delivered.
Yeah.
But me starting out with the seasoning when I launched it a few months ago, it was so hard for me to be able to gauge what the supply and demand was going to fall at. So I had to go with somebody that had a 2-week lead time. That way, if I was nervous about ordering X amount and then I ran low, I could gauge it before I was just sold out for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Totally.
And I tell people that all the time, like, man, this isn't Louisiana certified. And I'm like, I know, man. I've been asked that so many times, and I wish it could have been. But to me, LA certified wasn't as important as not having product at all. For now.
And it's more barbecue and all-purpose stuff. It's not like your Cajun seasoning. You're not doing a Creole seasoning. I agree with you. I mean,
it's
100%.
Still made in the South. It's still made in the South.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it's Texas. Texas is its own version of the South.
Mighty fine rubs made in
Y'all
Texas.
ever gotten food from the Boudin Shack, but Jonathan over at the Boudin Shack, I just met him today with an order. He's opening up. He's got a location on Nicholson by campus, and he's opening up a location literally like 2.5 miles from me on 42 in Prairieville.
I saw that.
And, so he just got an order from me today. So look, I've already been knighted. Everybody already told me that I'm Cajun now, and I'm like, look,
all right.
Tell these people, y'all quit asking me. Look, I'm not an Alabama fan. I hate them as much as you do.
Oh,
we gotta dig into this. We gotta dig into this.
An Alabama fan, I'm sorry. I got family and I love them too. But
that's all
I think that helped me fit into this culture.
Oh, I'm
damn
sure
right it did. And job well done, Austin. You are
sure
welcome to the fold for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm sure that's all it takes.
I knew it would happen one day.
I'm not a Cajun, so I'm not one to welcome you to the fold. I can't pronounce Boudin. You can ask Hal, the Cajun lady accent. She gives me shit over it. I don't care. Yeah, I don't care. I'm from North Louisiana.
I love Hal. Hal's good people.
Yeah, she is. She's
but
awesome.
that accent's something else. I mean,
isn't it?
Look, when I was in Alabama, Boudin had an N on it. You know, it doesn't have an N on it down here.
It does not.
You know, if people tell you to not speak phonetically correct, down here you listen to them. And
that's right.
If you're not supposed to pronounce the N, then you don't pronounce the N, and you don't ask questions about it.
You don't. You do not. You do not. But I can't get it out of my damn head. Just the same way that Morels and New Roads, for some dumbass reason today, I called it Morials. So one of my friends, she sent me a direct message and she said, "Oh, I can't wait to see these reals that come from this." Like, oh my God.
Well, look, hey, I don't know if you had to have noticed, if you're the editor here, I said Tbirds when I said I'm going on the podcast. And when I watched it back, I was like, you idiot. I said, I'm fixing to do a podcast episode with Tbirds, and I looked back and I was like, it's Tig's Bits, you dumbass.
I didn't even notice. No.
Dude, our name has been something special. It's been a storyline within itself. People can remember it. Like Bubba, who's on his network, and he's a big-time DJ. He still can't get it right. You know,
he's never called us right.
Tig's Bigs. The Tig's Bigs podcast today is out. You got to go check it out. I'm like,
Tiggs, I ain't going to lie to you. Whenever I looked you up after that live, and I looked up Tbirds on Instagram, and I didn't put
the S?
Bit, and I'm telling you, there's nothing that looked anything like what you have going on coming up.
That is fantastic.
I'm like, if he follows me, shouldn't it like suggest something close to it? The only thing it suggested was a lot of shit that was going to ruin my marriage and my search history.
Hey,
Austin, may explain our growth.
Dude, I kid you not. We've had, all right, so John Summerall, who now is at Tulane, at first he wasn't going to come on the show because he thought it was something else. And then I got media credentials denied at 2 different locations, and I had to actually reach out to them and go, guys, this is not anything bad. This is just my buddy Tiggs. It was Bits, and we got a show together. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, sorry about that, you know. And we have to overcome our name. You know, but it's become something.
I was on the show for 6
joke.
months before I realized it was a play on words, and then I was like,
we all were.
Now I get it. I thought it was because he's from Louisiana. I thought it was a LSU thing, Tiggs Bits, because he had a radio show where he talked about Tiger stuff.
It was not intentional, though.
I thought I knew that it was intentional.
It was not intentional.
There's still confusion. Nobody knows still. We don't even know.
Nobody really knows.
Hey, this goes back to what we were talking about with taglines. Like sometimes some of the best things happen, they're absolutely unintentional. Whether it caused you heartache and you had to overcome it or not, you didn't think that once enough people see it, they're going to figure out a way to make it bad.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yep. And we're going to ride with it, too.
Yeah, we got to get more merchandise out there. We got to really get our merchandise game up because I got some shirts. When you see it on a shirt, it's even more deceiving. Like, people will laugh and, man, I love that shirt. I was like, appreciate it. I didn't think it would get this much attention, but it's really, we really got to get this merchandise stuff going.
Yeah,
people love it. You know what I mean? Then you can talk about it. It's always a conversation piece. I mean,
the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit with that name. On a shirt especially. You can do so much with that.
Bubba
we got to get busy on that.
It gets airtime on Bubba's show every day because he butchers it, and then we get him wearing one, no doubt.
I know. I got to send them the shirt still.
Oh shit, we hadn't done that. See, we're terrible.
Hey,
we're trying to get there, Austin.
Your hat brand that you're wearing right now looks like, is that Stubborn Pride Hats that does that for you? Okay, and so giving them a quick shout out. So I'm wanting to get us into the hat game. I'm a big Richardson 112 guy, and I saw you had the 112. Yep. And I was like, okay, I want to get with somebody who can actually make it. Do they ship it for you, or do you buy them in bulk and ship them yourself?
He does all fulfillment. That's Jesse over at Stubborn Pride Hats. He's right outside of Hammond, Louisiana, and I tried to come up with a decent deal for everybody on hats for 6 months. And people would keep DMing, man, I love that hat. Can I get that hat? Blah, blah, blah. And finally, somebody linked me up with Jesse, and this is $25 on his website. It's a leather patch, Richardson 112. This is the camo. He just sent me this because he saw me in a video, and he's like, man, you got sweat stains all over that damn hat. He's like, let me finish some hats. I said, dude, if I like a hat, I'm going to wear it until it's ragged.
That's a fact.
And he's like, we got to get you looking better, man. So he sent me this one. I've been wearing this one. I'm sure he'll send me a text in 2 weeks because this one's going to be ragged. But
it looks good, though. I like that patch on there. I'm a big patch guy. Yeah.
Thank you, man. Me too. And everybody, it's kind of weird that, hats have evolved. Like, I know things trend or whatever, but it's just hard for me to believe that, and I know it's not true, but it's hard for me to believe that these won't be popular in a couple of years. I really, really like a Richardson 112, and I'm the type of guy that 5 years ago, I'm not buying a hat from any online store. I have to put it on my head before I know if it fits right, unless it was like a 47 brand hat or something like that.
Right.
There's no way I could buy it without wearing it. These hats, I mean, I don't even bend them. I mean, they just kind of come like
they come just sit on your head.
And I just noticed that's exactly the same hat I've got on. Shout out to my buddy Johnny Free who sent me a pair of these last week.
That's awesome.
And it's a Richardson 112. It is.
Yep. Dude, they're just the best hats as well.
And I don't think I meant mine either. I think I just threw it on.
Yeah, for me, it would cost me $38 if I bought one hat from. I used to buy them from Safari Sun. They did awesome work, but they're a small business. It costs what it costs to buy one.
Yeah.
So I bought 150, and I think I got the price down to like $22.99. By the time I get them and I ship them, and I charge somebody $30, I made $3. So I'm like, y'all, I can't do this. I don't have time to do this.
No.
So Jesse's been awesome to have him, man. And he's really up and coming. And a cool thing about Jesse, and I'm gonna mention too before we get off this subject, this red X on my hat. In the beginning, he didn't have the equipment to do that. And the more we talked, I said, man, so the red X is the same font as the state of Alabama flag. And I'm from Alabama, so I wanted to implement that into the logo.
I like that. That's cool,
it's
man.
It's got the Louisiana in there. The icons in here used to kind of make a little bit more sense. So it was ICYL. That's why Louisiana's down here.
I got it. Yeah.
And so everything in the logo meant something to me. I told him, I said, man, if you're going to make the hats, I have to have that. I don't want you to go out of your way and spend this expense. And he's like, no, I want to do this. I'm trying to grow or whatever. And he got this. He nailed it. The hats look great. So if Jesse, Stubborn Pride Hats, go check him out. StubbornPrideHats.com.
Absolutely. I think we'll be checking them out too. I think that'll be our next meeting. Yes, absolutely.
$25 for a hat like this is unbeatable, man.
For sure. Hell yeah, dude.
That's fantastic.
So you can just buy them directly. You can go through your website, I would think, iCookYouLook.com.
Yeah, and you go to merchandise, and then it'll take you straight to Jesse's website.
I think we're
and he makes them, he ships them. Right?
He does everything. Yeah.
You hear that, Brandon? Okay.
Yep. There we got our guy.
You can't think that. It's like,
that's all we need.
I don't care if I make $2 a hat. If you could just sell hats when people order them, I'm good.
Yep.
Thank you. Yes.
Yep. Exactly. I do the same thing.
Because it's a marketing thing. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't need to. There's things you need to make money on, and there's things that you just need to go, hey, as long as I'm breaking even or, whatever, I don't borrow money for marketing. I do. My platform on social media is my marketing. So there's some things like hats that are like, hey, me and Jesse have something worked out now to where when I make X amount of money and I've got $200 worth of hats that he would write me a check for, I need you to send 200 hats or 5 hats or 20, however many hats it is, to people that I'm just giving away, companies or whatever.
Yeah.
The hat thing isn't about making money. The hat's about brand recognition.
Branding, yes.
People that follow 100%. Me, hey, you get a free hat. I appreciate you following me. Appreciate your comment. Let me send you a hat.
This is perfect. Yep. This is perfect. This is going to be great. Austin, I got to ask you this real quick. Since you've mentioned Alabama, you got it on your hat and everything else. Where are you from in Alabama? Because JR and I are both from Alabama. So
I'm from Selma.
That's on my list.
Oh, good old Selma, huh?
Yeah.
I think Selma's a home of what's his name with Rolling in the Hay?
Rick Carter. Alabama
Rick Carter's
legend,
from Selma.
Rick Carter.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Telluride, Rolling in the Hay.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Big time legend in music. Yeah, man. Old school.
Damn. How old is he? Is he like 90?
Rick's probably 60.
How old are you, Austin? What decade were you
36.
born in?
36.
Okay, well, no, you should know who Rick Carter Rolling the Hay is. But when did you move to Louisiana?
Wait, hold on just a second. Rick Rolling the Hay is a royalty-free song that I use on 90% of my sponsored videos. And if that's Rick Carter, I'm going to do a backflip right now. Because every time that I do a sponsored video, I use his music.
Is it a bluegrass type rockabilly song?
Oh,
it might be. If so, you just got yourself a lot of bonus brownie points with that.
Wow.
Go look. Well, I'll send it to y'all after the podcast.
Yeah, okay.
Because I was looking for something that would go good, that was up tempo, that wasn't super loud with lyrics. I'm pretty sure like Dr. Pepper, Walmart, Tyson, Sanderson Farms, they get the Roll in the Hay song in every video.
Nice.
Wow. I wonder if that
is about that. I do know who he is.
And it wouldn't surprise me because Rollin' in the Hay was a band. I'll give the real quick thing on that. Rick Carter was in a band called Telluride that was like used to open for the Allman Brothers and James Brown back when they were huge. From Birmingham, Alabama, they played all over the Southeast. They were a huge regional band, 70s, 80s. By the 90s, he started a bluegrass rock band called Rollin' in the Hay that was like hippie jammy kind of, that would end up blowing up, king of the college circuits in the Southeast, all the biggest frat houses and clubs in all the college towns. They end up in Playboy magazine, girls wearing their merch. Same kind of thing. They were in some movies and TV shows and stuff. Now Rick's went on to do several other projects. He's wrote books. He's one of our biggest musical legacies in Alabama, Rick Carter. But Rollin' in the Hay was big, and that wouldn't surprise me because they've had like they were on commercials back then, even and stuff. I can remember. So we need to find out.
So it sounds like he's dialed into that. Yeah, that's super cool, man. See, yeah,
and it didn't even happen. It happened by chance, like you were saying. You just do what you do, and the right stuff happens. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah, Rick Carter didn't even make it. It's like the Lord just opened the door there.
That's right.
You'll be a guest on here. We'll have to bring you back on so y'all can talk about that.
That's right. Hey, man, I'm the guy from your hometown. I didn't know who you were. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, right.
My bad.
I mean, Rick,
I've been using your music.
Yeah, they've been doing it for a long time, and you've been out of the state for a while, so that's not a huge surprise. Well, how did you get out of the state? I mean, because I'm from Eclectic, Alabama. I grew up on Lake Martin. Blacey's from down Opp, Enterprise area.
My sister and my nephew and all that side of my family are in Eclectic.
Really?
Wow.
Do you know Peyton Stevenson?
Yeah, I have to.
Peyton Stevenson. He was quarterback at Eclectic for years.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's my nephew.
Yeah, his daddy and I went to school together. Matthew Stevens, one of my brothers growing up.
My ex-brother-in-law. My sister's got a few exes, so edit that out.
No kidding. We talk about all that hoo-ha later. Any of my E-Town people listening, they're going, "Oh Lord."
Man, it's a small world. We talking about rolling.
Just got a lot smaller too, didn't it?
Dude, Travis and hell yeah, we all know a bunch of the same people. How is it taking us all this long to connect? Crazy. That's crazy.
I don't know, but sometimes you see it happen and you're like, man, this is kind of meant to be. That's so wild. I didn't realize you're an Eclectic.
Yeah, that's where I went to high school. I was born in Jackson, Mississippi. We moved to Montgomery till second grade. Then I finished in Eclectic. Went to Troy, where I met Blacey. Nashville for 15 years. Now I'm back in Gulf Shores the last 5 years.
I know a ton of people. Jake Hewlin, Michael Sides.
Sloth. Sloth. They were all a couple years younger than me. Those are all like my little brothers. I used to kick the crap out of them in sports my whole life. I gave them terrible nicknames, but I love those guys. That's some of my best friends. Oh, I miss
Ben Grubbs, man. Ben Grubbs, that's a big one to come out of.
Oh, Big Ben. He and my little brother graduated together. They were a team. They were partners on teams their whole life.
Ben was a class act, man. His mom, one of the best women you'd ever meet.
His whole family, great people, a lot of good people back home. Yeah, I don't get back much, like you were saying earlier. I don't get back much because I went to Troy, then to Tuscaloosa, then to Nashville, and I just went home for the stuff and keep up. But I still keep up, some. But that's a trip. What a small world. Yeah,
I know, man. This is all the connections here. This is super.
I love it. It's a good
hey,
thing,
if you want some stories, Tiggs and Blacey, those guys he just mentioned, if we ever get them on here and you want some dirt on JR, they got it. They saw me in my prime. Blacey saw me in my prime, too.
But my life were around those people I named.
Ooh, buddy.
That's awesome, man.
And when I tell people, when I meet people out, because I've been in the music business the last 20-something years, and I've traveled all over the country. People always think I'm crazy, and I'm like, guys, where I'm from, I'm like middle of the pack. I ain't even the worst one. I'm telling y'all, I'm like the same one from back home, and they think I'm crazy, and I'm like, y'all don't even know.
And I can vouch for him. He is not lying.
And I believe it because we all had to modify just a little bit. It's like coming out of Opp, Alabama. It's like people don't understand like what I grew up around. And it's like I go back and they're like, "You sound like a Yankee now." And I'm like, "Man, they sound like a country redneck everywhere else I go." Like I promise you,
I promise.
It's a modified situation coming out.
That is too funny. That is funny, man.
I just think I've lost my accent until I'm down here. If I have a drink or two, and then somebody's like, "Where are you from? Shreveport?"
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, "No, kinda."
Kinda.
Basically.
Well, that's my wife. My wife's from Houma, Louisiana, and she lives here. And everybody, when her family or friends come visit, they say, "You talk country now," and then and she's like, "I don't do it," and I'm like, "No, you definitely," because anybody here thinks she talks straight, Cajun, straight flat. Basically, they think she's talking flat. But then we go back to Houma, or some of her friends show up, get 2 or 3 of them together. Oh, it gets thick. It gets right back to normal.
Yep.
Right back to South Terrebonne.
My accent's definitely diluted now. I can tell that when I go home and I talk to my family. I'm like, damn, I used to talk just like y'all. And it's just such a drawn out way of talking. And if I'm around them for a few days, my wife tells me, like, if I go to Alabama by myself and I come back after the weekend and my wife's like, why are you talking like that? I'm like, that's all I've listened to for 3 days.
Exactly. It's like, speed it up
you can jump right back into it so easily. And people ask me, too, it's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, dude, I had to articulate my words so people could understand me. I'm in sales. I was like, I can't be running off to, I'm the only one from the South, let's say, on this team. I was like, I have to be able to speak so they understand me. Because I started off not being able to do so. They looked at me like I had 2 heads. I was like,
there's the backyard drinking a 12-pack with your closest buddies. And then there's the let's turn the business side on. And some people can do that, and it sounds like you got it figured out, and I have to do the same thing. When I call people and sell my seasoning, I sure as hell don't say, hey, how you doing? My name's Austin. I got this seasoning. It's real, real good, and I really hope you like it.
Yeah, that ain't going to work.
So good.
They're going to go,
hey, what's up, man?
No, thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, the best. You just got to be a chameleon. Depends on who you got to call. Depends on what area code you call. And you can play it up, play it down. Whoever answers, play it up, play it down. Oh man, you kidding me? When I talk to promoters, you can bet whatever region of promoter I'm talking to work, I dial it up so where they can get it. Either lay it on thick or slick it up if I need to.
Oh hell yeah. Exactly.
That's so funny.
Good old Edwin Edwards did that here for years in Louisiana whenever he was governor back in the 80s.
Hey, I'm gonna plug my charger in real quick. I had like 60%, but I don't want to down.
We don't want you to.
Tiggs, Eddie Edwards.
Eddie Edwards back when in the 80s, he would be down in South Louisiana and he would just lay it on thick with the accent and all. He'd go to Shreveport. He sounded like me. Yeah, he knew how to work it, didn't he? Yeah, he knew how to work it. Ain't no doubt about it, man. He could work it.
Oh, he was funny. Well, I know you said you come from Selma, which is beautiful country. I used to have to drive through there, going from Jackson, Mississippi to Montgomery. My grandparents are from Jackson, and then I went to Montgomery before Eclectic. So drove through there a bunch. Had some friends in college from there. But so how did you go from there to Central Louisiana? In that period of time, and how long have you been where you're at now? I mean, why do you? Yeah, that's the main thing is why do you think you're a certified coon ass, even though you're an Alabama transplant, basically?
Well, I live in Louisiana, so you do not get to pass judgment.
Okay.
Bam.
Hey, I own a house in Houma, so technically I live there too. I pay taxes everywhere.
You can't marry into it. You got to be united.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
He ain't ever going to get knighted.
I've been going to Louisiana for a long time. I got some good Louisiana stories, I promise.
Oh, yeah.
When I was 24, I was working at Pepsi Cola in Selma. And I was driving a truck, and then I moved into the sales side of it. And, it was decent money. And for a small town, it was like the upside of being in sales and kind of climbing up to management was it wasn't terrible. It was, people would have thought I did decent if I did that. And I got to the point where if I was the plant manager at Pepsi, I wouldn't be happy. And I knew that. And I said, I can't do this. And I don't want to try to go to another job that maybe closes down in 10 years. There's no sustainability and there's no real telling what the economy is going to do to a small town like this. Jobs come and go. They're shipping jobs overseas. So a buddy of mine that I went to high school with, he was a couple of years younger than me. He had family that lived in Mooreville, Louisiana, and they had all worked in the plants their whole life. And he came down there right after high school. So 24, he was probably already down here when I was 24 for 6.5 years. So I hit him up. I'd come down here to visit him in Baton Rouge a couple times. And I said, man, is there any entry-level positions down there? And if there is, like, what do they pay? And, like, what's the growth trajectory and all that? So we talked, and I decided when I was down here visiting him to go interview for a job, and I talked to him, and my main thing was when I first came down here was I'm going to come down here for 6 months. If it works out, great. I could stay long term, but if it doesn't, I'm going to go down there and work a bunch of hours and make some good money. And it ended up working out. I've been down there for 12 years now. So happy that it worked out that way. But that's another thing. Like, this is why my philosophy has been, if a door opens, just go through it, because every time I've taken a risk, to this point in my life at least, when it comes to I'm nervous about something, I don't want to do it, it may be out of my comfort zone. More often than not, when I do that, something good happens. So I've kind of learned to embrace that. Like when you're nervous or you're in uncharted waters, just do it and see what happens. The worst thing that happens is nothing happens. It's really not, the alternative's not you're dead or, you embarrass your whole family. The alternative is you weren't successful, and learn that. Take that lesson and put it in your tool bag and apply that next time, and you'll have better instincts next time to do the right thing.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about that.
Makes total sense. Yeah. Wow.
How making content and doing all that you do, kind of going back to content for a second, how many videos a day? Like how often are you recording? How far ahead are you? Like how much do you have in the can right now? Like,
I have 0 in the can as far as like future content right now. And that's because the seasoning has kind of taken so much of my time now that I can't really batch content like I used to. I used to could batch 4 or 5 videos between Friday and Saturday, and I'd be good for 5 or 6 days. Now, it just kind of depends. Sometimes it's not really so much about my capability of doing a video. It's more about, am I going to be able to do a good video? Right. So I kind of gauge my temperature as far as like, okay, I made 40 phone calls today. I'm completely dead. Do I really want to go put a half effort video out that's going to obviously show that I'm not my full personality? So I try to, now I have a schedule, but the schedule's kind of like planned out as a week. And I know what videos I want to make, but I don't necessarily know what day I want to make. And the same can be said for when I make 40 phone calls in a day. I know when I wake up that morning and I get up and I have my energy drink, I know in about an hour if I want to make 40 phone calls that day.
Yeah.
Right. And if it's a 40 phone call day, I do that. If it's a 3 video day, I do that. It's never both. It's never both.
I know.
I wish it was. If it was, then I would have a lot of days off.
No, I get it.
I get it. That energy drink. Do you keep like a running tab of things you want to get videos done on and check them off as you go, or do you just have inspiration hit and like, oh, I'm doing that one next?
Well, the inspiration stuff hits, but the inspirational videos literally happen either when I'm laying in bed right before I go to sleep, or I don't really listen to music in the car anymore. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not like without music. When I'm in my office and I'm just like doing some stuff, I listen to music. And I was actually cranking out some Justin Moore earlier. I remember seeing your video. Y'all were at the Justin Moore concert. I was like, man, I loved his music and listened to it so long. I was like, I probably hadn't turned him on in like 3 or 4 months. So I was out there cranking that out. But
nice.
The creativity side of my brain. So like, I'm a class clown. I've always been the guy that says something off the cuff. And I've learned in doing content that the best way for me to do content is to not script it. When I'm out there in the middle of a video, whatever comes to my mind is usually what I say. And I think that goes best with, it's just organic and it doesn't feel forced. But usually riding in the car with no music playing or kind of laying there at night and just going, I think I'm gonna do this. And I've never even thought of this, but it just pops into my head and then I write it down and then it goes on the schedule.
And then you can't go back to sleep, and then you just I'm
there
with
it is.
I'm with it.
Yeah.
It's just a thought.
I get that.
Is that where the tri-tip came from? Because I watched that video today. Now I've spent some time out west, so I'm aware of what tri-tip is, but that's not a typical Alabama or Louisiana Southern barbecue type item.
It isn't. The Meatatory in Prairieville, they opened up probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Okay.
And I got my seasoning stock there, and I shop there all the time because Rouse's and the nicer Rouse's markets will have really good cuts of meat. But the Meatatory's got Wagyu, steaks, brisket, tri-tips. They've got the more exotic stuff. Not necessarily exotic, but stuff that other places don't carry.
You can't get at Rouse's.
And I just went in there kind of just do a little check-in on them. I just stocked them up about a week ago. I went and talked to the owner. I said, hey, man, how's the seasoning doing? Good, whatever. And I said, I don't know what I want to cook today, but I said, I think I'm going to get a tri-tip. And I looked over in his case, and he had just cut one and packaged it. I said, is that Wagyu? He said, yeah. And, Japanese Wagyu, you're going to pay $400 or $500 for a tri-tip or whatever. This is about $50. It was an American Wagyu tri-tip. And y'all, I'm telling you right now, that was the best sandwich I've ever made in my entire life. Me and my wife were eating it last night, and I'm like, man, I've never made one like this. And to me, cooking a tri-tip's like cooking a steak. Yeah. You've got a thermometer in it. You can track the temp. I've done this for so long. That's not the hard part. It's like, what you going to put in the sauce, what kind of cheese you putting on. That's what makes the sandwich. And
cut it right.
Yeah. Don't cut it on a diagonal or do, and then they're going. Either way you cut it is going to be wrong.
Also, it is, isn't it?
That's just embrace the suck.
It's two pieces of things going on together. Like a brisket and a ribeye just got together one day.
Because that's not a
when
typical.
When you learn to love to hate, you're good.
Yeah, right, because that's not a typical something. But man, when it's done right, it's so good. Quick story. I know everybody hates when I do this. I feel like Rose when she talks about St. Olaf.
Now, if you're going to go to your John Party story, then this is a great time, JR.
Yes, true story though. All right, so I used to work for John Party. I was his tour manager for several years when he was on his way up. Yeah, and so when he's from Winters, Dixon area out in Northern California. So when we would go back to California, one year we went out hunting. On some land, like 9,000 acre ranch up on the Napa-Yolo County line of Northern California, which was very remote. Only place I've ever been more remote was in the swamps down south of Morgan City, Louisiana. Now that's remote. You can't get home. But this was way out there, and I didn't know this part of California existed. I thought California was skateboarding in bikinis, like you see on the TV shows. I didn't know there was all this. So anyway, we're out there. The first night out there, it's one of these old school hunting lodges, and everybody who goes on a hunting adventure knows the food is one of the main draws of going on a hunting trip is to all the exotic and cool foods that the local chefs are going to cook. So they did tri-tip, and I didn't know what it was. So then I got the education on tri-tip. It was absolutely phenomenal. They had one of these big old school crank smokers with levels over open coals, and some would have potatoes and some would have tri-tip, and the tri-tip was dripping in the potatoes. It was sick. Oh, Lord. So then since then, I've had it several times, and I can remember telling John this way back then when I first had it, because he was living in Nashville by this time. I said, people back home have no idea what this is, and we all love barbecue because I've eaten barbecue in like 40 states. I love barbecue. Yeah. I'm like, everybody back home loves barbecue. You should start a tri-tip restaurant in Nashville and serve nothing but tri-tip and call it Just the Tip.
Just for a second, just to see how it feels.
I mean, dude, it would have been it was a miss. Maybe he'll still do it. I mean, I hope he does and gives me like one point of credit on it. And
except for no one's going there after church.
But I thought, and I've told people about it, and when guys that leave out of Nashville, mostly Southern guys and stuff, most everybody doesn't know about it. You get out there and you have one for the first time, you're like, man, what is this? It's tri-tips. Like, what is that? You're like, you have to explain. And it's moved over into Texas because I've gotten it several times in Texas the last decade or so, but really a different something, and it was, in the way you laid it out, it looked, I mean, if anybody was going to sell it, that video you put on it to sell it today, brother.
I appreciate it, man. All 3,000 people that saw it, I really appreciate it.
It's just like that with Just the Tip. That's Slow one of the top 10 favorite little clips that I've ever made. It makes me laugh every single damn time. Yeah. That's why I knew that's where he was going with this. It's one of my favorites. Yeah, it's like had 587 views,
Yeah, if we could have done this podcast yesterday before I made it, maybe the intro could have been something that was referencing Just a Tip, and now I missed the mark.
I know.
That video's out there. We just have to let it be.
You just have to let it be.
Sometimes I'll make a video, and by the time I've done every clip, because I clip it. I mean, I'm sure y'all are familiar.
What editing software do you use? I'm always curious.
I used to use CapCut.
Okay. Yeah. I use a lot.
Right on your phone? Right on your phone,
yeah.
Huh?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And I've done it that way so long that I don't think I'd be able to do it on a computer. But,
right.
I get it.
That tri-tip video had 63 clips, and I had to drag the beginning and the end of every video. and it was 3 minutes and 14 seconds when I finished doing it. And I had to eliminate the steak sauce recipe out of it just because, to me, a minute and a half is kind of the
sweet
farthest
spot
you want to go out in a food niche.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
that's good to know.
Usually I go down about a minute and a half. And so people are asking. I can't say a lot of people are asking, but the couple of people that did comment asked for the steak sauce recipe.
I
and
was thinking the same thing.
The thing I try to do now is, if I do a video like that and I have to take stuff out that's like part of a recipe, like caramelizing the onions, I had to take that out.
Sure.
Then you can make another video out of just making the steak sauce. And you already did that. Now it doesn't have to be in there with that. And then you have another video.
That makes sense. Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
We're talking shop. That's what I was thinking today. The chicken salad with Lauren, she also has a fantastic pimento cheese, by the way, smoked Gouda pimento cheese. And it's like 6 minutes, our little interview.
That sounds good. I love pimento cheese.
Dude, you would love
Okay,
this
everybody
stuff.
from Alabama, look, y'all don't make me be solo on this.
Yeah.
A pimento cheese sandwich. It has mayonnaise or it doesn't have mayonnaise.
Like, you talking about add mayonnaise to the bread with the pimento cheese?
Yes.
I do not. I love mayonnaise.
I don't eat pimento and cheese.
I just go straight pimento cheese.
Well,
I've never added mayonnaise, but I will now.
Yeah.
I love mayonnaise, bro.
I put mayonnaise on it before I put chicken salad on a sandwich, so that's similar.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well,
I do pretty much the same thing with pimento cheese. And I guess, like, however your parents raise you, whatever mayonnaise you use or whatever.
What about people who don't eat mayonnaise?
Huh?
Oof.
What about there are people who don't eat mayonnaise? I know people.
They probably don't like pimento
How crazy
cheese.
is that? Don't you feel like you're just
To me,
missing
it's
out on
wild
so much?
because there's so many good things that aren't just like a sandwich with mayonnaise. I can get it if you didn't like it. You don't want to taste it on a sandwich. But there's so many good dishes that have mayonnaise that you don't taste.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
Yes.
right.
You don't taste mayonnaise.
Right.
You don't. I mean, think about a grilled cheese. I didn't know. That blew my mind a couple years ago when I started making grilled cheese sandwiches now with mayonnaise. It's so much damn easier and cleaner, and it tastes exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly the same. Yeah,
I'm going to have to try this with pimento cheese. I don't know why I've never even thought about it. I just go, to me, it's like peanut butter jelly sandwich. I don't add mayonnaise there. Just a little bit.
Don't go crazy.
Just
a
light
little
layer.
Mayonnaise on it, man.
I can see how it can just give it a little more lubricious action there. You know what I mean? Just flavor it up.
Talking about like creating different content, I'm 100% making homemade pimento cheese now.
Hell yeah, you are. Good. I want to see your video on it because I have never made homemade. I just started liking pimento cheese. It's just kind of a
my
newfound
mom makes
deal
it. It's
for
really
me.
good, but I've never made it either.
You've got to be really
right.
careful with the pimentos because you will give everybody heartburn city if you put too much. So it's like I'm gonna have to play with this one because I hadn't made it in probably in 10, 15 years. So I have to play with it before I put it out there and kill everybody.
Well, I can't wait.
Lacey, I know why you like pimento and cheese because it's like you. It's a one-man posse in its own little container there.
It is,
man. It is,
one-man
man.
posse.
In my 1 year going to the Masters, I ate probably 12 pimento cheese sandwiches because they were like $1.50. Every time I walked by a stand, I was eating a pimento cheese sandwich. You know, just
all
hammering
the
them
gas
things
stations
back.
have pimento cheese sandwiches. They're cut in half already. Some of them don't even have crust on them.
That's right. the Uncrustables.
I'm gonna have to try one. I'm not saying I hate them or nothing. I just never eat one, but we don't ever keep it around. But I'm gonna have to
keep it in there all the time.
You could put pimento cheese on a cheeseburger.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love
it's got other applications besides just a sandwich, or you can put on a Ritz cracker, obviously.
You know what I did with it last night? Put that bitch. I put that bitch in a jalapeno pepper and bacon wrapped it. And you talk about good.
Really good. Man, you said, you know what I did with it last night? I was scared to ask.
Yeah, I was too. I was like, where's he going that time? It's like the time he started out with, I was smoking. And I was like,
a brisket.
What are you smoking? You got something to tell us? What's going on?
And it was like, we just sat there. Like, all right, Brantley, we're doing a TV
show.
You
what I did with my pimento cheese. First thing I did was take my shirt off.
Right. I sent them a picture. I used the Traeger last night. I used some of that Hefe another friend of ours gave us a while back. That they turned out great.
Oh, that looks so good,
I'm looking forward to using your rubs though, man, because I'm just thinking when you showed it earlier, when you said it's just a general rub like that, I was thinking, I know what this is going to be good on. And I was thinking my wings. I know it's fire on wings.
I bet. Thighs.
On them thighs. Everything I put on the Traeger. Oh, I can't wait, man.
Man, speaking of pellet grills, talking about Traegers, any pellet grill, there's so many. That's another thing with social media. I could do a pork butt and people go crazy because the people that stay up all night and use stick burners. I've had stick burners. I use stick burners.
Hell yeah.
They're great. They're great if that's what you want to do. I'm not doing competition barbecue. If I wanted to do competition barbecue, I could do that. Now, when I go
still use a pellet grill, by the way.
Yeah. When I go to a really good barbecue joint, it has that offset stick burn smoke flavor to it.
Right.
And I know that's different.
Yep.
But it's not different enough for me to not sleep all night and still cook my brisket for 16 hours.
Absolutely.
There's a time that you want to do that, but 9 times out of 10, I'm going to pick a pellet grill. And people say, that's not a stick burner. It is a stick burner. They're just little bitty sticks.
Little tiny sticks.
Amen. Amen.
It's
the
fine.
best of both worlds.
It's just it's the toxic boomer. It's the toxic boomers.
Yeah, it's exactly. Yes,
it's the same reason I like the sous vide. I use the sous vide for all my steaks, and it's just I feel like it hammers a steak out perfectly. You know what I mean?
I've done it that way. I don't do it. I don't do it all the time, but I love sous vide. Sous vide is really good.
It is.
Hell
just another tool, you know.
I mean, if God forbid you just have a steak perfectly cooked every single freaking time. I mean,
just make sure you sear it. Don't just sous vide it and just throw it on the plate.
Oh my God!
I've seen people do that, not knowing any better. Like,
that's weird.
What do you want your cook to? Like 132, and they're like, just take it out the bag, and I'm like, no way I'm eating that microwave.
No, we got to go hot,
yes,
quick.
Yes.
I mean, you can even get a little torch if you wanted to. I don't do that, but you got to get a dang. You got to sear it.
I've seen you with a torch.
I keep my gas grill next to my Traeger because if I need to add char to something like vegetable or something they got undercooked, there you go, flamethrower.
This little rig right here. This is what I melted my cheese on with my steak sandwich.
Oh,
that's
man.
right. That's exactly right. That's what
you want to get a good
sandwich.
That's right. Steak or I don't know. Whatever you want to do.
Charred up.
Right.
I love it, man. I love it. Blasey, I don't know. Do you have little bits tonight?
If you did. I got a couple of questions. I don't have to say this, but like obviously, we do a little thing called little bits of controversy. We've kind of already hit on some of the controversy with some of this Alabama stuff, LSU stuff, and being knighted and, being there, being not from there. So we kind of gone through a lot of that. But I do have to ask this. I mean, it's obvious you're not an Alabama fan. You're from the state of Alabama. So, I mean, what was it like growing up a Troy Trojan? And that's the only other option left in the state of Alabama as a football team is Troy, right? So
Are you talking to JR or me?
I'm talking to you.
I'm an Auburn fan.
Oh, I forgot about that little
No wonder he denounced his Alabama hood. Now it all makes sense. I would have left too.
You ain't even got to edit this one out, man.
I'd have left too. Oh my God! Hey, a bird took a crap on that guy's arm, Tiggs. Golly.
Oh God!
A damn bald eagle did it. I can't believe it.
Bird's gonna poop on you. Oh my God, that is funny. That just tied it all together. What were you guys drinking four Locos? Y'all were in high school. Is that why your age group's all crazy?
Again, I don't know who we're talking to. Are we talking to me?
Oh, that's so good.
I'm so happy.
I think that's a mic drop
Natty
on the
Light by the case when I was in high school.
I love it. I love it.
And I see you're a fan of these Diet Millers too. That I am. So that's my go-to beer. My day drinking beers, my Diet Millers, and then I get little craft beers and stuff on the side.
I like Diet Millers.
I can't wait for you to get down. Next time you're down here, you let me know when y'all are coming. We're going to hook up, go to the Floribama, or meet up somewhere in the neighborhood and have us a drink, man, for sure. I can't wait to meet you
I'd
in
love
person,
to.
brother. And we can talk about some of them knuckleheads we was talking about from E-Town earlier.
Yeah, we could say some things off camera that you and I know we both can't say.
Yeah, right.
If we don't want to embarrass their whole family.
Right. And I'm actually going to go meet one. I'm going to go, and he's older than me, though, but Drake Bethea, a good friend of mine, is in town with his daughter, and I realized last night he was in town, so when we get off this, I'm going to go meet an E-Town guy. And it's going to be funny because I'm going to tell him, Pete and his son and that whole world. The sister. Yeah. Oh, my God. That's crazy.
You
that's
definitely
crazy.
know Matthew well. You called him Pete.
Dude, I've known him since he was in, I don't know, kindergarten. You know, I mean, literally.
That could be a good thing, and that could be a really bad thing.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. I'm 45 now, you know, so it's like, it's just wild, you know, the whole retrospect on life and middle age and stuff. It's all creeps around crazy, and tonight's episode of the Tbirds podcast proves that even more so. You know?
No, that was cool. Like, there was a lot of really good connections here. I really thought that was super
Absolutely.
cool.
There was, man.
Absolutely.
This
was
a
you got to ask him the
blast.
one most important thing, though, Blasey. How big a fan of
Yes.
is he of the one and only Bubba the Love Sponge?
There you go.
You told me about him, didn't you?
I teased Bubba. As I was trying to hype our show up to make sure you came on, kind of like your pallet deal, I was like, we do get 4,000 or 5,000 listens a week on one of our shows. With Bubba the Love Sponge, I was like, do you know anything about Bubba? And it's like, no. I went, oh, okay, great. And that was that.
I said, look, that's the one
Even
thing
better.
you will get. I'll never be like, and then go to research him and like figure out what he is. Like, I just don't know.
I didn't want you to.
I did look him up.
You're probably better.
Me and him look like we'd be great friends.
Yeah,
you're probably better not to Google him. Like the Google little quick summary is not so good, but he's a great guy.
He is a great guy.
I would just look up what he is supposed to be really good at, and
let's just break this news too, Austin. I think
he's
this
really
is
good
kinda,
at making
this
tapes.
is kind of fun. He's good at making tapes.
He's a radio
sex
guy.
tapes too.
He's
since
got a
this
great
is
on
the Bubba Army
radio
Network.
show. Yeah.
No, he's got a fantastic. He was with Howard Stern, big dude from the Howard Stern era, with kicking, rocking, and rolling. Him and Hulk Hogan were good buddies. That's where that Hulk Hogan sex tape came from. It came from his wife.
You know what? This cool. Another good correlation about this podcast tonight. I did not know anything about Hulk Hogan cheating on his wife in like 2007, and that popped up on my TikTok For You page yesterday, and I had no idea that was even a thing. So then I heard the sex tape was leaked. He got like 115 million or something in the settlement. So that was his. This is super cool.
Yeah, he got that, and Bubba got run out of radio for it. You know what I mean? So Bubba got nothing for the sex tape because he didn't broker the sex tape. Somebody stole it from him, and they peddled it, and it made him look like the bad guy, even though it was just some whatever people do behind closed doors.
Yeah,
it should never got out, but it got out and made it look like Bubba's the one that put it out there. So he lost his job and everything over the deal. So anyway, that's unfortunately the biggest thing that he's known for. But there's a documentary coming out in about 45 days, I think, that's going to really dig into this. That somebody's been working on for like a couple of years now. So that's going to be cool.
I'm not leaving for long. Somebody is banging on my front door. I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's fine.
Did you leave a damn recipe on the stove back here?
If you hear a gunshot, don't call the cops.
Damn.
I love this
he's
guy,
an Auburn
man.
fan, so I can never eat anything he cooks, but seems like a nice fella.
This is tough on JR. I knew it was going to be. I didn't want to. I damn near at the very beginning of the show when we were talking a little Bubba stuff, I almost gave it away. I was like, maybe I should tell JR. And then I said, nah, I'm going to let this just show itself organically in the show. And man, I'm glad I did.
Yeah, that was good. I'm glad JR brought it up instead of me. I thought it was even cooler.
Exactly. It's fantastic.
Oh, man, as soon as he denounced Alabama, me and Blasey were over here two buzzards waiting on something to die, ready to attack his ass. Like, huh?
I know.
We're both over here scribbling notes. Like, what? Now, circle back to this. Don't forget that. X circle.
Yeah, the whole time I thought he was from Louisiana. It's like, I'm an Alabama boy. Wait, time out. Wait, how did we miss this?
I know. Yes, I've known all of this.
Whoa. That's the most important thing on this show is the connection. You know, it ain't really all whatever everybody does to get famous don't really even matter. It's just a bunch of BS. You know,
that's exactly right.
That. The UPS guy just had a little talking to.
Oh,
man, the baby's asleep, and he knocked on the door like he had a warrant.
Oh my God! What was he doing? Just dropping something off normal?
Just dropping a package off. Bye. I'm like, okay, cool.
Come on,
man. Thanks for dropping it, but you didn't have to wake everybody in the house up.
No shit.
It is a little late for a package, to be beating on doors,
Yeah, it is.
I know they work late, but don't knock on the damn door.
I mean, you get shot in Selma for that.
Shot in Baton Rouge too. That's a damn fact. Well, real quick, we'll start to wrap this up, Austin. I did want to tell us a little bit about the cookbooks that you have. You have I Look, You Cook as a cookbook, and then you have your Mason Jar Monday Cookbook. So tell us a little bit about them.
So Mason Jar Monday was just some way for me when I started doing content. This was probably 4 to 5 months in, just me start doing a series that would be easy, something just cocktails every week. And some of them were recipes my wife would give me, some of them were recipes that I'd come up with. And I'd always kind of experiment with them on the weekend. And then we put a video out Monday usually. And we published that book. It's called Mason Jar Monday. And then the I Cook You Look Cookbook, it was more of, an accumulation of all the recipes I've done on social media for the last year and a half. And we put that out about 4 or 5 months ago. And it's out there. It's all on my website at ICookYouLook.com. We got some more recipes, some more cookbooks coming in the future. But for right now, I'm full steam ahead with seasoning and keeping all my sponsors happy right now, because I know right now my head will blow off if I try to do anything besides those two things first. It's basically those two things, and then if anything else has time for my attention, I give it to it. But right now, like all the series stuff is just impossible for me to commit to.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Well,
yeah, well,
brother,
I'm not even going to put this on your plate because you got too much. We've got about 6 months before crawfish season rolls around again. Or, we can expect a crawfish boil in a bag type deal. And is that one of your specialties too? You got a good one?
No, I posted a video during crawfish season. We don't do any boil in the bags down here.
No, he does it right. I've seen it. He knows what to do.
Is he dusting them or not dusting them?
No dusting.
Love you. All right, good. Yeah, you got all your
good human.
Look, people that want to do that, that's great. But if I'm over there and I'm drinking beer and you dust them, I'm probably still going to eat a few. I'm not going to tell you shouldn't have dusted them, but
it's going to be
that you shouldn't have dusted them.
I'm going to ask whose cousin here works for Kimberly Clark, because I need a deal on paper towels, because that must be what y'all trying to do is just waste paper towels over here dusting.
Marcel seasoning. And I love that Austin, who has seasoning, still isn't just liberally putting it all over.
On there.
It's unnecessary.
No knocks to anybody. It's also my preference. It's just unnecessary.
It's unnecessary. Boil them right, put the right amount of seasoning in there, soak them, cool them off. You don't need to dust.
I mean, there's nothing more on this earth that holds more seasoning than a damn crawfish when cooked correctly. Why would you need to add more seasoning to it, right?
Yeah. And some people, it's just like, there's so many people in this society that are stuck in their ways anyway. But it's the same thing. It's people that they don't really care if it's better or worse or it improved it. They're just stuck in it. And they're just going to keep doing it forever. That's like the mustard thing. Now, mustard's good as a binder on a pork shoulder. Mustard's good as a binder on a brisket if you keep it light.
Very light.
You do not need to put mustard on crawfish when they come out of that pot. It adds about this much.
That's exactly
more dirty
right.
Hands.
It makes them
more
dirtier.
detergent.
Yeah, you got a damn cut in your finger, and you get that mustard down in there. You're really going to be thinking about that.
That's
mustard's made to put on a paper plate as you dip Conecuh sausage in. That's what mustard.
Yeah, with a little side of honey or syrup.
That's the most roll tide thing I've heard today. I love it.
Damn right.
Hell yeah.
Damn right. Well, buddy, it was great to
love Conecuh.
Yeah, it was great to meet you, Austin. We definitely got to hook up when you're over here. We'll make sure we all swap numbers. Can't wait to try your seasoning sauces. We'll make sure to promote the snot out of them. And come back around soon, and we'll do round 2, because I know Blasey had some, and I've got a few more we need to get in. But we'll do it on another podcast another day. I know you got you got sauces to slang, brother.
I appreciate it, man. I enjoyed it, and I'd love to come on here again. And I guess Tiggs, if you have all their address information and everything, if you'll send it to me after the podcast, I'll get everybody shipped out tomorrow with the rest of the orders.
You got a deal, brother. I'll send it to you here shortly.
And I just send them my number too, so y'all.
Yeah, I'm going to put us all in a group text.
Y'all text me anytime y'all want, and we'll keep connected for sure.
I'm going to come visit you soon. I'm coming to hang. We're not going to make a video. We're just going to hang out, brother. Yeah. Have us a couple pops and shoot shit.
Sometimes that's the best way to do it. I tell other people that do content, I'm like, man, you want to come hang out? And they're like, you want to do content? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do content.
No.
I want to hang out with the person that doesn't do social media and drink beer and cook.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we're going to do it then. I like it.
I love it.
All right, boys.